since, pretty much October 20th, just on my Binance account. Obviously, I wouldn't keep all my money there, so you would always understand that. I'm up about $3.3 million since October.
The different times to go into the market. You're saying that right now is one of those times where it's like, if you're a little bit late, maybe put a little bit in and be patient, right? This narrative between like getting in private sales. A lot of people say, oh, you can get in early to this project, but how do you even do that? What is up, guys, and welcome to another one. And I have a very special guest with you today. You guys went crazy, so we brought back Coach K. Welcome, bro.
Yeah, island life, baby.
So for the new people here, reintroduce yourself, because people need to know what you've been doing to Binance recently. It should be illegal.
Yeah, basically I made a plan a long time ago. I shared with you in like pretty much January. I shared with a bunch of my friends. I shared in my community a list of coins that I curated that have no more vesting. There's no more VC dumping. There's no more KOLs who dumped on you. Like everyone had to buy in at the same time now. It's fair game. And I shared this list with my group, and then obviously refined it, added new projects that are coming out. And yeah, basically since, pretty much October 20th, just on my Binance account. Obviously, I wouldn't keep all my money there, so you would always understand that. I'm up about $3.3 million since October 20th when I first started posting about it on Twitter. So you guys can see that. You can go back. You can literally confirm that. And you can see that every day hasn't been like different numbers or anything like that, because you can literally see the images that I post. Just to give people a better perspective of, there's a lot of people that say they do shit and they don't actually do it and they pretend. Well, it's really hard to fake numbers on a Binance account if you continually post the same thing over and over again with updated, updated amounts, updated things. And like, obviously there's one day I lost like 450K in value, and the next day I went up 480K in value. And then you can see all that. So there's no like fuckery that like all these other guys are generally doing, which I know I don't respect it.
Yeah, which is unusual. So it's crazy because you was very public with the list.
Yeah.
You had a lot of conviction, which is one of the things I've realized.
Yeah.
And you actually took action on what you say, because I've seen a lot where people will put in a coin or they'll say about a coin, but they don't actually invest into it.
Yeah.
So over the past, how many months is it now? 6 months.
Yeah.
About 6 months and about $4 million. Now, what would you say for a lot of the newer people out there in crypto that want to get started now is the best thing to do?
I mean, start putting something in the market. You don't know if it's going to go higher or lower. I expect it to go higher first.
Yeah, we hope so.
So I mean, if you haven't got in yet, you wouldn't want to put in everything, because if you put in all your money right now, then you're going to end up in a position where, if the market does pull back in January, 20, 30%, as it generally does, you can actually get in the better positions and actually deploy more capital. Another thing you could be doing right now is looking for private sales. Those are starting to kick off. You've seen IDO platforms like Paid, GamesPad, etc., starting to kind of pump up and getting ready for the market. You're seeing SuiPad, I saw recently, just went up like 3x, 4x. So these things are going to come back. There's actual like thirst for these types of IDOs. And again, I really feel it's only people from last cycle coming back that were here last cycle, and it's not really new people yet. But
which is weird, right?
No, it's actually standard, man. Like those, because whales will start the pump, and then the people from last cycle will come in, and the people after that will be new people that are, when you're telling your friends, like, yeah, like, I was in crypto this long and you've seen me go up and down, but actually I'm up now a lot and you should get in because it's still kind of early. And, then they get in, and that's how you introduce new people into the crypto space that will say, be here for the highs and the lows, because they can actually make money their first cycle, and hopefully keep it, but most will give it back as everyone learns. You're gonna make bad mistakes. You're gonna buy the dip too many times when the market's in the wrong direction. That's what I kind of help people do. I try to help them be like, that moral, ethical, like calm father figure of like, look, this is what the market's showing us, and this is what I'm saying is probably gonna happen, and I'm pretty accurate at this, and like people can go and look that up, and then you could follow me, and I can help you understand when the times are where you should be starting to think like maybe the market is starting to turn, and maybe you should start protecting your assets a little bit better. And my goal is that, I can print more millionaires this cycle, but also like have them keep it. Because a lot of the guys that I did last cycle, about half of them, were greedy or were on mostly paper gains, and they gave some of it back. But this cycle, they still have a few $100K to start, and it's very easy to 10x that, even just with buying a list and doing absolutely nothing.
So a few interesting things that you mentioned there, right? Not only about the different times to go into the market, you're saying that right now is one of those times where it's like, if you're a little bit late, maybe put a little bit in and be patient, right?
Yeah, put in like 25%. The market's looking good to go higher. So you should probably think, we can go higher, but at the same time, we should also think about like, not putting all of it in, because if the market does have a pullback, gives you opportunity, you should wait for that pullback opportunity, because then you get into a better level, and you're kind of planning it a little bit more than just like aping in, right? And like that's what caused a lot of people to lose money. They ape in at the wrong time at the tops. They don't have a plan for how they're going to sell. So yeah, it might go a little bit higher, and then they don't really know like to take their initial out. You put in 10 grand into a trade and you're up 50 grand, you should take your 10 grand out and like it's free money. And if it goes down 10K or 20K or 30K, it doesn't really make a huge difference.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
Explain Launchpads, paid network, and this this narrative between like getting in private sales. A lot of people say, oh, you can get in early to this project, but how do you even do that?
Well, first thing is have the right communities. So there's DAO communities, which basically help raise capital for people that are retail. Like they do it as a DAO. So like if normally they couldn't get in, there's a leader in the space, like maybe like someone like myself who would come in and like already invest in this project or advise this project and say, like the project always needs to raise money, especially now. It's still not easy for them to do so. And it's because like private rounds, you have to wait a little bit of time. Now we're getting close to the bull market, or kind of in the bull market, but bull market for private sales. And it starts to get more and more challenging to get inside. And if you know the right
people don't even realize that. They think it's still going to be easy.
Yeah, they think it's going to be easy.
No,
and
boy, it's easy soon, boy.
That's exactly when you go to the Launchpad narrative. You know what I mean? You can see that the Launchpads become more and more adopted, and more people use them because they can't get in, and all they have to do is buy this token and stake it, and there's a good chance they can get into projects that they want to get into. So they're really like a avenue for retail who don't know someone like myself or like yourself who have access to deal flow. And it is a very small, tight-knit community. Crypto is a very small niche community of people that if you don't screw people over and you do good things for people, you don't end up hurting the community. You build a really strong community, and that's basically how you grow in the space. And if you're someone new in the space, like when I started doing videos just explaining crypto projects, and kind of like adding value, and then going to projects and asking how I can add value. So you can do that. Anyone can do that. If you know marketing and you have advertising stuff on Facebook that you've done, that's a good opportunity for you to get involved as well. And like that's a way to have a project open up and be like, yeah, maybe we'll let you invest a little bit because you're helping us out. And that can be great projects, can be airdrops.
Easy sometimes. Like a lot of times people don't realize that all the same traditional values that equate to business are exactly the same that equate to having success in crypto.
Yeah.
If you don't fuck people over, if you add more value than you give, you're always going to have opportunities out there. And especially if you take the risk to actually invest in these projects, you can get some crazy returns. So what are some of the biggest projects that launched on paid network? Because the biggest one for me was ShopX. I remember that one was
ShopX, Star Atlas, iOS, several actually last cycle. And like these are from public sale. You got like $300, let's say, and they're doing 100x. And so you're someone who maybe has $5,000 in your bank, you go into this thing, you're like, okay, I think this is going to do well. You've done your research. And then you instantly make like 30 grand. And like, you might not sell all of it, but you sell like, let's say 10 grand, and it's like life-changing for you because now you're in a different position completely.
It's a complete change of class.
Yeah.
You've gone from like paycheck to paycheck. The average person in the UK has £500 disposable income.
Yeah.
And you've just all of a sudden gone, boom, 10K from a $500 investment.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you say like that. And no wonder why the Launchpads take off.
Yeah, they take off because like they generally, if you're following the right Launchpad, because there's a lot of them, right? But if you follow the right people, you can make crazy amounts of capital from doing this, right? And it's really about like finding people that aren't trying to like sucker you into something that they're already in, that's like they got a better price, and that like you're basically their exit liquidity. Or is it like a project like I talked about earlier with with like full vesting, and like now I can buy this and know that it went through a cycle and know it went down 99%, and now it's starting to come back. Like paid is coming back right now. And it's like, who is there to sell on me? There is no one.
Exactly.
So now it's fair for me to buy in and actually secure my spot.
So many
smarter people are buying the Launchpads now, knowing that in the bear, and like Matt Rand talked about it, Alex Becker talked about it, like all these people are buying in these now because the opportunity is huge.
Massive.
If they get in, and then they have like a lot of tickets on these IDOs, because sometimes if you're looking at a lot of projects I'm not involved with, you have really slow vesting periods. Whereas if you get a public sale and it's 100% of your tokens on TGE, you literally are in the same boat as investing in Link right now, because everyone already has their token. So it really changes the game of how you're actually planning about the market. But if you focus on the fully vested stuff versus the unvested stuff, and wait for the, like I said last time we were with you, right? Like taking all the fully unvested projects and just waiting for the next cycle when they bottom out at 99% lower,
like paid,
like
which
paid,
was literally
and
just
now you could buy
99%.
it, and like, look, you could have bought 20 grand and paid like 3 weeks ago, and now you've made like
100,
600K.
yeah.
Now, obviously, you can't sell all of it because there's not enough liquidity,
Yeah.
but you could still make 100, 200K just from a small amount of money going into a project that went up 25x over the last like 3 weeks.
Not to mention, like, a lot of times people think that these tokens, like you said, they're not coming down because nobody's selling.
Yeah.
But also they look at it in terms of the US dollar value and not the token value, because 75K paid tokens right now, one will probably be worth 75K. Soon it'll be $1.
Yeah.
But also the value of the tickets that you're going to get are crazy.
Yeah, you have a lot of tokens.
Yeah.
So it's about planning ahead, right? With those things, with the IDOs, why do you think Rand wants it? Rand gets in all the public's private sales too. I do too, right?
Exactly.
Why would you do it?
Yeah, more
Simple
money.
as this. It's like, you're literally going to give me all my tokens day one, and I can get like 4 tickets and get $2 grand, and it can go like 30x out the gate and sell $60,000 and be like, sweet, thank you very much, bye-bye, next one. Yeah.
Exactly, because what people might not be realizing is that there's different rounds of investments. But when you have a ticket on, for example, a good launchpad like Paid Network, you get in our public sale, which means you get all your tokens on day one. So they're fully accessible.
Yeah, and you're liquid, right? Like everyone talks about, oh, I'm a millionaire on paper. Like, great. Cool that you're a millionaire on paper and your project like ShopX went to $1 billion market cap
but it's not going to
with a small
that.
amount of tokens. But the second you dilute those tokens and you do 900% more tokens into the ecosystem, those are 900% less valuable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why the token prices come down. So like the tokenomics do matter. We've talked about last time. We're not going to deep dive into that, but like
make sure you check yesterday's one, because I know that's going to be a question on a lot of people's minds. What is fully vested? What is private sale? What is public sale? But all of that is on yesterday's podcast. So
that was a pretty alpha podcast. Like I watched it again myself. I was like, this is like literally the idiot's guide to crypto. Yeah. And honestly, that's kind of what we should change the title to, like the idiot's guide to crypto. Like, if you follow most of the rules that I put out for those people like that are watching it, it's like you have a path to literally having almost no chance of being failure. Like you literally have no chance of failing.
Some people are just waiting for Alex Becker to do a YouTube video and then buying the coins. That's not how it works.
Not really how it works. Like it works though. It's a good influencer, right? No, but there's a few people that are actually really good that actually will push the price in a good way. But
when you're in before, you need to be in before.
Of course.
Like you can't be waiting for Becker and then you just sat there like that's just pot luck on how you can get in. But if you look at Paid Network, we was in Paid Network before Alex Becker.
Yeah.
Mirror Games was in Mirror Games before Alex Becker.
Yep.
Was in Gaming Tokens 2 years ago. Yep. So that's why
I'm the one who put Alex Becker on to Gunzilla, because he was like, which AVAX tokens, and I'm like, you don't know about Gunzilla. And he's like, he like literally reached out to Gunzilla a day later,
got straight in,
and literally tried to get in with touch with Vlad, and I actually messaged Vlad. I was like, "Did you get Alex?" And he's like, "Yeah, we already got him." And I was like, "Man, I can't believe he didn't see that. It's the first PlayStation game going on in crypto. Like literally, Neil Blomkamp has done Gran Turismo as a director, like Elysium and Disney." And I was like, "How do you not know about this one?" Clicks and even Dr. Disrespect.
Well, this is what's crazy. And first of all, shout out to Alex Becker, but
yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to people forget that the influencers themselves, even we don't know everything.
We don't know everything. There's too much stuff.
Imagine an opportunity out there for people that actually put their mind to it and actually put an hour into research on themselves on CoinMarketCap.
It's to a point for you and I where we don't even need to work with outside people anymore.
Exactly.
It's like our own network can actually bring us all the deal flow and access that we need. But we still do meet those people. We still do have curiosity about that. But like, there's not enough time in the day to be a Soul whale, AVAX whale, EGLD whale, Bitcoin whale, ETH whale.
Exactly.
You have to kind of figure out your ecosystems. And I talked about this like 2 cycles ago. And I said, it's going to get to a point where layer ones are their own ecosystems, like your own country, and people are going to feel more patriotic to certain countries. Maybe you can be like a dual citizen or citizen, right? But in reality, like you're going to be a little bit more focused on one thing. And because there's so much growth and so much bigger amounts of tokens and bigger amounts of projects every cycle, you kind of have to choose which focus you're going to have. Because if you try to focus on it all, there's not enough time. You're literally going to drown in the amount of research, and you're not actually going to get into the projects because you're going to have too much time, too much thinking, and not enough action.
And they're going to marry the bag.
And you're going to marry
that bag and taking it down because Solana's the next figure or Chainlink's the next internet.
Yep.
And you're marrying that to a next cycle,
Absolutely.
But look, I don't want to take up too much of your time, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show, my
Good
bro.
lifestyle content. It's beautiful day. Look at this fucking place we got. Right?
It's crazy because even the whole cycle, the whole bear market, you were saying, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to chill out and the bull market's going to come back and we're just going to be sitting pretty.
Yeah,
Everybody
just
else
party
has
and have
been,
fun,
yeah,
man. Like,
everybody else
fuck.
was stressing, figuring out where Bitcoin's going to go, and they all still missed it.
They missed it.
You know, yeah.
They missed it because here's why they call the cycle part where we start to come back disbelief.
Yeah.
Because they're in
It's still-
disbelief. And
it's
I've been
still-
talking about this for like almost a month and a half. Suspend your disbelief, because
suspend,
the second that you keep believing in this disbelief, you're going to keep sitting out and keep sitting out. And the reason why certain people make 98% of the profits and like there's a little bit for everybody else after is because the people that bought, like when I was buying and dollar costing in like a year from now will be like, holy shit, you did like 50x on your portfolio. And I'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, didn't you start with 8 figures? And I'll be like, yeah. And like, did you have $1 billion? I'm like, hope so.
Yeah,
but like,
better do,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm not really greedy, so maybe I won't do that much. But the whole
Yeah.
point is like, I started with $100 trades, like literally.
You just,
You know what I mean?
build it up,
It's just
build
like,
it up, man.
you realize when you're not focusing on the wrong thing, that it just kind of comes because you're just trying to do good and good energy comes back to you. And that's why like, I don't fuck with people that I don't like. And I don't fuck with people that have bad energy.
You
that
have to protect
really
your
kind of
energy
like
nowadays.
mess up my juju. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, thank you very much for coming on.
Much love,
And
bro.
Same again next time. We'll bring
Absolutely.
Didi.
We got to bring Didi.
We'll
Maybe
bring
he'll
Didi.
be here later. Maybe we'll
Didi.
continue doing this podcast a little bit later.
Didi,
when he
get
gets
your ass on the podcast, bro. He needs to come next. Right?
Get your ass on the
Get your ass on the podcast, bro.
Yo,
Peace.
it's the OG.